Welcome to RetroQuest, the show that gives me an excuse to revisit retro games on their original consoles just how they were intended. I'm Jay, and today we're playing House of the Dead Overkill on the Nintendo Wii, which was originally released in 2009. Now, unlike a lot of my retro collection, this is a title that I didn't actually play back in the day. I wasn't really spending too much time or money on my Wii other than the first party Nintendo games. Instead, I was more into my Xbox 360 and any free cash went there. I wasn't even aware of this game until I was building out my collection recently and was searching for eBay for House of the Dead titles on the Dreamcast. This popped up, and as I was reading about it, I came across the Nintendo Wii Zapper, a piece of moulded plastic designed to accept the Wiimote and nunchuck and simulate a light gun style experience. I couldn't help myself and had to have it, so I added it to my collection, and today I'll be playing it for the first time to be able to give my impressions as part of the episode. So let's not waste any more time and let's boot it up. House of the Dead Overkill for the Nintendo Wii takes players on a wild ride, far different from its arcade ancestors. Developed by Headstrong Games and released by Sega in 2009, this title veers off the traditional path with its grindhouse cinema flair. Unlike the main series, Overkill is crafted exclusively for the Wii. Marking an exploration into console-specific design, the game stands out with its stylised violence, crude humour, and a presentation that pays homage to low-budget horror films. It's an interesting experiment in blending video game action with the aesthetics of cult cinema, setting it apart from the traditional House of the Dead franchise among Wii titles. I've genuinely never heard so many F-bombs in a video game either.
Okay, F-bomb you, F-bomb you, F-bomb your mom.
The journey to create House of the Dead Overkill was marked by a desire to maintain the essence of the franchise while venturing into new thematic territories. Early in development, various themes including steampunk were considered. However, the developers at Headstrong Games ultimately decided to embed the game within a grindhouse film aesthetic, complete with all the trappings of the genre. Things like over-the-top violence, a deliberately cheesy tone, and a sense of self-aware humour that doesn't shy away from the absurd. This direction was a significant departure for the series' roots, but one that invigorated the franchise with a fresh, distinctive vibe. The narrative of House of the Dead Overkill unfolds with a ridiculously over-the-top plot that could rival any B-movie. Players are thrown into the shoes of Agent G and Detective Isaac Washington as they investigate a mutant outbreak in the fictional town of Bayou City. The game's storyline weaves through a series of grotesque scenarios involving brain transplants gone wrong, monstrous transformations, and a convoluted plot centred around genetic experimentation. Characters such as the villainous Papa Caesar, the stripper Vala Guns, and her ally Candy Striper enrich the story with their exaggerated personas, and this campy, outrageous narrative is a significant pivot from the more straightforward horror of its predecessors, embracing its grindhouse roots with every twist and turn. In gameplay, House of the Dead Overkill sticks to its on-rails shooter roots, but it's tailored for the Wii's unique control system. Players use the Wiimote or the Wii Zapper attachment for a more immersive gunslinging experience, and this setup was praised for its intuitive controls and how well it translates the arcade shooting experience to a home console. I will say that it didn't do a very good job of introducing its buttons, which you might think for a light gun game it wouldn't need to. But as you'll see from my footage, I could not find a logical way to reload. Shooting off screen doesn't work, and when holding the zapper two-handed, as advised in the opening instructions, there's no button within easy reach that seems to do anything. It wasn't until I was messing around at the end of my play period that I realised that the A button actually reloads, which makes no sense when it's in the zapper. It's not in natural position. It just doesn't make sense. If you adjust your hands, then you can't easily reach the change weapon button on the nunchuck. It's a small but annoying point. During gameplay, players can build up a combo meter by killing enemies to receive a score, with further points gained by performing headshots, shooting bonus pickups, saving civilians, and attaining multiple kills without missing a shot. If one or both players die, points from the overall scores can be spent to continue playing, and at the end of each level, players are awarded a grade that depends on their final score among other factors such as not dying and the accuracy of their shots. Along with score bonuses, other pickups scattered throughout levels include health packs, grenades, the slow mofo, pickup that puts everything into slow motion temporarily, and the evil eye feature in which shooting a certain environmental point destroys any lurking mutants nearby. New guns and gun upgrades can be bought with cash earned from the player's end of level score. That's done between levels at the gun shop. And upon completing the story mode, Director's Cut is unlocked, providing the same game as the story mode but with tougher enemies, extended levels and a limited amount of continues. The game includes a cooperative mode, allowing for shared mutant hunting escapades. However, it wasn't without its criticisms. Some pointed out missed opportunities for depth, like the lack of dual wielding in multiplayer. Despite these critiques, the gameplay was lauded for bringing a visceral, arcade-like fun to the Wii. Upon its release, House of the Dead Overkill received a generally positive reception, with critics and players alike applauding its bold aesthetic choices and entertaining gameplay. The grindhouse film presentation, complete with grainy visuals, a fittingly cheesy soundtrack and over-the-top violence, was particularly well received. The game was not without its detractors, some of whom pointed out the repetitive nature and technical issues like sudden cutscenes and poorly lit environments. I think something that comes across very clearly in the gameplay footage I'm showing. Despite these flaws, it was celebrated for its unique contribution to the Wii game library and the House of the Dead series as a whole. Critics noted the game's ability to blend traditional light gun shooting with innovative genre-bending elements. On the Special Achievement Award, GameSpot awarded Overkill the funniest game of 2009, going on to say the interplay between Washington and Special Agent G is pure gold. Mix that up with the grind ball atmosphere and Overkill cements its place as the funniest game of 2009. The game also received a Guinness World Record for being the most profane video game in history. Jonathan Burrows, the game's writer, said, "It's a dubious honour to receive such an accolade working in an industry where so often the fruits of your labours are derided and dismissed for being puerile or irresponsible. But in the case of House of the Dead Overkill, a little puerility was the order of business. Parodying the profane excess of grindhouse cinema was Headstrong Games' objective, and I'm flattered that this record acknowledges that. We not only rose to that challenge, but entirely exceeded it."
That was a lot of words. A lot of words.
This record was beaten a year later by Mafia 2. Following the success of Overkill, an extended cut was released for the PlayStation 3 featuring additional content and enhanced graphics. Although Overkill itself didn't spawn a direct sequel, an alternate version, The Typing of the Dead Overkill, was released for Microsoft Windows in 2013, replacing the game's shooting gameplay with keyboard typing mechanics from 1999's The Typing of the Dead. It includes the original shooter mechanics as an option should you want it. The House of the Dead Overkill The Lost Reels was released for iOS and Android devices on April 25th, 2013. The game is split into 3 chapters, with the first 2 included and the latter requiring an additional fee. Money can also be spent in exchange for coins that can unlock better weapons, including some based on other Sega games such as Vector Man. The Lost Reels eventually became free to play until Sega removed the game from the App Store a year later due to negative reviews. After the game's initial Wii release, no new installments to the series were released for nearly a decade. The next game in the series would be the arcade exclusive House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, a sequel to the House of the Dead 4 that was released in 2018. The Wii release remains a memorable entry in the House of the Dead saga for its bold departure from the norm. The game's distinctive style has influenced other developers to explore similar themes of horror, comedy, and B-movie aesthetics in video games. Overkill's legacy is one of daring creativity, proving that taking risks with game design and narrative can lead to cult status among fans. In conclusion, House of the Dead Overkill stands as a testament to the potential of video games to explore uncharted territories of style and storytelling. Its grindhouse aesthetic, combined with traditional gameplay mechanics, created an experience that was both familiar and refreshingly novel. So there you go, House of the Dead Overkill on the Wii. I actually really enjoyed the game. The gun was surprisingly good and felt very natural. It does make me wonder why we didn't see a boom in games like this during the motion control era, especially as it allowed for these sort of experiences to transcend old-fashioned TVs and make the leap to modern flat screens. If you're aware of other experiences like this that I should be trying out, then let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.